Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Tilting Ground Untitled Notre Dame USC Football Podcast. I'm Michael Muto. I'm here with Notre Dame football expert Greg Famon. Greg, I think this is the longest we've ever gone without a podcast. How are you?
What's it been, like 7 months?
I think the last one was January 22nd.
Oh man, so right at like 6 months.
Yeah, I mean, look, our policy is we don't make news. We don't push bad podcasts on the people. We try to do it when there's only stuff going on.
Well,
So it's been a while. There's some things have happened.
and plus, I mean, we do have normal lives. This is not our job. So like
No, no.
we plan to do a recruiting podcast. Like every podcast that we plan to do just kind of fell through because of life events and things that are going on. So,
Factually correct.
you know, you gotta just you roll with it, and here we are.
I mean, we've never missed an in season podcast, so
No.
I think the fans can cut us some slack.
Yeah, that's the real deal. So let me ask you something.
All right,
This is very off brand, but it's on brand for the fact that we both live in Los Angeles. Where were you when the news broke that Mr. LeBron James was joining the Lakers?
I was at the in laws' house. We were getting ready for dinner. I think. We were was golf on? Golf must have been on. The Waste
No.
Management Open.
Well, it was like 5 o'clock.
Okay, so maybe it was over.
Yeah,
Maybe
five
dinner
o'clock.
was over. I don't. It was somewhere either before or after dinner. I don't remember. I think it was right after because we ate early. And then my father-in-law yelled from outside, "LeBron's a Laker."
That's funny because I had a very similar experience. Um, my parents were over and I was cooking dinner in the kitchen and I had Twitter in front of me and I just refreshed it and it came up and it was just like, the press release,
Clutch Sports presents.
Clutch Sports, and I was like jumping around, super excited. And it's funny because this is one of those things where the only people like so normally like everything I'm super excited about, it's like Notre Dame Twitter. So like I can go on Twitter and talk about it, but like everyone who follows me on Twitter is a Notre Dame fan, or pretty much. And there aren't that many. Like I don't like no one.
Not a lot of
follows me.
crossover.
No crossover, like none. And not only that, but you get this like, oh right, like people generally don't like the Lakers. So on my timeline, like it's just all people being mad. Mostly not even like no one cares about LeBron. Like everything's fine. It's just like, oh, stupid Laker fans.
Lakers do it again.
Here we go, Laker fans. And it's fine. It's fine. I don't care. I'd feel the same way if it was somebody else. But
It's not.
the king is here and I'm excited about it.
That's great. It's great.
Yeah. I even fired up local sports radio for like 10 minutes there.
Just to get all jazzed about LeBron.
Just to get all jazzed and to be like, yeah, I'm gonna listen to local sports radio. And then they were talking about some nonsense, having one of those like quintessential like back and forth devil's advocate conversations.
Look, if we can sign Contavious Caldwell Pope, get rid of Luol Deng for Kawhi Leonard, the team's going to be great.
We're gonna be awesome. People calling in like, look, I think we should give up Josh Hart and some first round picks for Kawhi, and that's gonna be the deal.
And a veteran will take an exception just to play here.
Exactly.
Local sports talk radio is the best.
Yes. That's why I don't do that. That's why I
No.
stick to podcasts.
True. Well, it's good that you started talking about the second biggest star in Los Angeles come October, because the number one biggest star will be USC quarterback JT Daniels. You see what I did there?
I see what you did there. And that might not even be wrong either.
I hope not.
Let me ask you, because I don't run in the USC circles as much as yourself. What do people think about him? Is it like he's the starter? no
I
matter
think
what.
it's bated breath. I think no one wants. I think no one wants to say it. I think no one wants to do the thing where you know this guy's the next best thing. This is it. He's the second coming. Right now, it's like, yeah, he's probably going to start. No one really separated themselves at the competition, so he's the likely starter.
I think. Oh, I think that the play for Helton is to start him, right? You have
Oh
to
yeah,
start him
you have to.
just because almost gives you an excuse. It gives him an excuse to not be that good.
Right. Yeah. And like, what are you going to do? None of your other quarterbacks have any playing time, so there's no real point in starting anyone else, right? The kid left high school early to go play quarterback at USC.
And no one really thinks that USC is going to win the national championship next year, right?
You should go to NFL. No, which one was it? Did I not write down this website? Damn, I had a bunch of websites down with JT Daniels hyperbole, but someone compared them to Georgia as the team to watch for this year. Like, I think it might have been diehards.com who described him as having moxie for days in their write up as USC this year's Georgia.
I mean,
hey, those are the good people at diehards.com.
That's silly.
I've never squabbled with them before. Well, I'm not going to start now.
Let's let's have a real conversation. So no one expects them to win the national championship, right?
I mean, I think JT Daniels does. You know who expects them to win the national title?
Well, who?
I'm jumping ahead here, but one Mr. Amon-Ra St. Brown.
That guy, he is not short for confidence. What did he say? He wanted to win 3 Heismans? Is that
what he's going to win 3 Heismans and then leave after his junior season.
Oh, it's not a wants to? Well, first of all, like, that's not really like leaving after your junior season is not like that's expected.
Well, but he's just saying he's going to win 3 Heismans and leave school early. So it's not like, hey, I'm going to win 3 Heismans. I got 4 years to do it. No, it's 3 straight, go pro.
Oh, I see.
He's thought about this.
Well, what he should probably do then is win 2 Heismans. Also, it is funny. Like, did he mention national championships in that, or is it just the individual awards?
It was just individual awards.
Oh, good. That's good.
Priorities.
Good mindset there. I'm going to win 3 Heismans, then I'm going to leave school early. I guess the assumption is the team will be good since he's a 3-time Heisman Trophy winner.
Correct.
That's funny. Okay, so, but for serious, I don't think that it's projected that USC is going to win the national championship. What happened? He left.
Are you there?
Hello?
That was weird. I don't know what happened.
Yeah, you dropped.
All right. Anyways, I can start over.
Okay.
I know exactly where I was.
Okay.
No, they are not a top 10 team anywhere.
Right. So, it's probably like 10-2, 9-3, something like that. So
I mean, yeah, let's see how summer ball, preseason breaks down.
That's just what you think. So
we'll get there.
You figure if you're gonna go 10-2 and 9-3, like don't do that with who I don't know who else is their quarterback.
Jack Sears or Matt Fink.
Okay, it's not gonna be Matt Fink, right?
He's the only one throwing right now in player run practices.
Why? What's Jack Sears doing?
I don't know. Didn't ask. Don't care. It's all about JT Daniels.
Okay. Okay, so if you're gonna do that, then you go with Daniels.
Yeah.
Don't go 9-3 with Jack Sears or Matt Fink or whatever his name is.
What's the point?
Yeah.
What's the point?
You just go with them.
I mean, yeah, JT Daniels, he's the best high school quarterback in Orange County high school football history. That's pedigree right there.
Excuse me. Excuse me.
That's
You
I
don't.
didn't say that.
You
The
don't
Orange
talk
County
about.
Register said
You
that,
don't talk about. Oh, I see. Because
and
Clausen was not Orange County.
they said that when he received his Orange County Register Male Athlete of the Year award this week. So
Better than Carson Palmer?
that's what OC Register said. Might be recency bias, but
Might be.
I don't care. Only threw 15 interceptions though in his whole high school career. That seems good.
I remember Carson Palmer was very, very
Touted.
good for Santa Margarita.
Yes.
Okay. Well,
I mean, look, Colt Brennan's on the list somewhere, so let's not go too crazy.
you have to figure that that's going to be a good offense.
The USC offense?
Yeah.
Well, yeah. I mean, like I said, I jumped ahead to Amon St. Brown because that is as the analogy I used last year. The bacon on my hamburger to this offense is not only is JT Daniels going to be fantastic and great, he'll be throwing to another great receiver, and it'll just be a connection for 3 years of happiness for me, of just touchdowns and glory.
So you've got Michael Pittman.
Yes.
Who kind of came on at the end of last year after his dad basically threatened the coaches.
Which seemed to work. So
it totally worked.
And all we do is kill USC coaches on here. So maybe Michael Pittman Sr. should be a USC coach.
Exactly. See, and you got Tyler Vaughns. And then you got a little Amon-Ra St. Brown action.
Oh yeah.
What would happen, do you think, if they went with 3 wide receiver sets and Amon-Ra St. Brown is not one of those 3 guys?
He would lose it. He would just lose it. He would not take kindly to that.
Would there be like a revolt?
Yes, he just might leave. He might transfer. He may take the new transfer rule and just leave. Take his football and go.
In-season transfer?
Yeah.
I like it.
He's just gone.
I like it. I think he would too. And it's funny because his brother, Equinemius, he didn't really play as a freshman because he was sitting behind Will Fuller. I mean, for good reason, right?
Well,
Well, it's like at Notre Dame, they were doing a thing where it's like, oh, he can only play the X or whatever. And it's like, he's not playing because Will Fuller plays the X. And it's like, okay. If he's
great coaching.
Just put him somewhere else. Like, I don't.
He'll be fine.
Yeah, like there's 3 wide receiver spots. Like, just put him somewhere. It's not that difficult. But I don't see that happening for Mr. Amon-Ra.
No, I mean, you never know because this is the coach who trotted out Jalen Green for like 4 straight games as a starting wide receiver last year. So anything's possible.
I'm actually rooting for it because the quotes in the paper would be
phenomenal.
Fire. Yes.
Just fire.
They they're like the paper would be singed, like just with his like. I think if it went to week 4, I honestly he would leave. I think he would leave the team.
What's their dad's name? John St. Brown?
Yeah.
He was being compared to the LeVar Ball of college football in articles I was reading over.
It's a terrible.
Which is unfair, but
it's a terrible comparison.
Terrible.
He's not anything like him. He's like him in that he has 3 sons who are very good at football, and he has a business that the sons promote.
Yes, that's about it.
But it's like it's not a brand. It's like, what is it? Protein powder?
I don't even know. I think he was Mr. Fitness though. We've talked about it before.
Yeah, he was Mr. like whatever. Yeah. And I think it's a protein powder that he has. Something like that. And so the sons promote it. Like when they talk, they mention it.
And they have the shirt, I think.
Yeah, they have like a shirt. So, but like he doesn't. This came up on a message board actually, and I was like, if this guy was anything like LeVar Ball, he would have been at every Notre Dame game. He would have been interviewed by NBC at every Notre Dame game. Or he would they would know where he was sitting all the time.
Right. He'd be on the feed. People would know what he's saying. People would know his thoughts.
He would have called for Brian Kelly to be fired every single day of 2016, and he would have demanded the benching of Brandon Wimbush all the time. And instead, we never heard from him, except for one interview that he did in the offseason when EQ was deciding whether or not to go pro or not. And I mean, that was somewhat controversial because he was like, if it was up to me, he would go pro. And everyone was like, oh, well, okay.
You asked the question. What do you want me to do?
So, but it wasn't it wasn't super controversial.
No.
So, I mean, it's a little, they're not alike really in any way.
No, not at all. There was a quote that he would Amon-Ra put to the bottom of the depth chart and have to work his way up. He thinks that would be fair. But he only thinks that probably because he knows his kid's good and will beat out the other garbage wide receivers.
It's actually like a humble brag kind of. Like, oh yeah, put him on the bottom of the depth chart, as if that's actually going to happen.
If that lasted for more than 2 quarters,
right?
It would be all hell to pay.
Last through 2 practices.
So no, that's all I care about. USC football is JT Daniels, number 18. They got their numbers, and Amon-Ra St. Brown, number 8.
Oh, of course he got number 8.
That's what they had in high school. They were teammates in high school, Greg. I know you know
in
that.
High school. Man.
I just want to make sure everyone on the podcast knows that. So this is a tradition being continued at USC, a tradition of greatness.
It's so dumb that for some reason I decided when I was 9 years old that I wanted to root for the team with the gold helmets instead of the local team like USC, because USC is basically like the Lakers. Everyone in LA wants to play for them, and you have the best high school quarterback who plays 30 miles from USC.
Yes.
And the best high school receiver who is his teammate, and they both just go. And the quarterback is like, you know what? I'll graduate from high school early. And that's now a thing.
Well, you're kind of jumping on one of the things I wanted to talk about. Was I saw that Nike had their opening, which is where all the high school recruits go.
Uh-huh.
And honestly, there's no point in me paying attention because every athletic player has USC after their name. It's I can't know them all. They're not all going to go to USC, but I know most of them will. It's just such a frivolous thing for me.
Well, it's all the best ones.
Yeah, it's all the best players.
They're not all going to go, but all the best ones are going to.
Yeah. It's just such a who cares. I'm sorry, Notre Dame fans.
And it's so annoying. It's so annoying.
It makes it uninteresting for me because they were talking about, I think just today alone, because it closed, right? It closed today.
Uh-huh.
They were talking about the top 5 DBs, and all of them were talking about going to USC. It's okay, well, this is how do I know? What do I care? It's it's just a plethora of riches.
You know what though, Michael?
What?
49-14.
Yeah, I know that happened. That's
how did it happen? I have no idea, but it did. 49-14. And I think we should end the rivalry right now on that note.
Might as well. End on top, right?
Yes, sir.
Oh man, no, that hurts. That hurts. You know what else hurts? This is we should have led with this because this is just the topic of conversation for this podcast. It happened in a Panda Express in Santa Paula, California. Much maligned former USC All-American Jack Jones was arrested trying to break into a Panda Express.
Is that correct?
That is correct.
I did not know the Panda Express.
Yeah, I don't know what he thought was in there, but any chance of returning to USC is now dashed. So, Jack Jones, we'll miss you. Another player who said he'd win a Heisman.
I just want to point out that if he had just some sort of craving for some orange chicken, I'm not saying I condone it, but I certainly understand it.
Oh no! He had friends with him. This
I
was
love.
a according to the L.A. Times. This seemed like a planned robbery.
Wait, so let me see if I understand this story. He was first suspended for the season for academic problems.
No, he was suspended for spring for academic problems, and then at the end of spring, dismissed for not getting his grades up.
Dismissed from
USC.
what?
So
Like,
before he got arrested, he actually was kicked off the team.
okay. Was he kicked off the team or was he suspended from the
Kicked
team?
off the team.
Okay.
There was talk
like
of
what?
maybe getting the grades back up and going to a community college and coming back.
Okay.
Everyone was very positive about him getting kicked out of school
Because
for
that's
not being able to pass.
because let me tell you something, Michael. If anyone knows how it works with academic problems, it's a Notre Dame fan.
Great point.
So like usually at Notre Dame, what happens is if a guy is ineligible, it's like he's suspended for the season, but he can still practice. So they're usually not kicked out of school. Now there have been scenarios which like you might remember Julius Jones from about a decade ago. More than a decade ago, actually.
Yeah, we're really dating ourselves here.
Oh my God. I can't even believe it. This is like 18 years ago. Jesus. He was a running back and he was kicked out of school for grades and he went to like Arizona State for a year and got his grades up and then he came back. So maybe Jack Jones had that sort of thing.
Yeah, I think that was what the idea was. I think they just saw USC saw the writing on the wall and was like, this guy's not getting his grades back up. Let's be real. Let's cut this scholarship and sign another wide receiver.
Right. Okay. So he got suspended or he got dismissed from the school.
And then like a week, I think, after getting dismissed was the Panda. I think he gets dismissed late May, robs a Panda Express early June.
Oh my God. Oh my God.
Allegedly.
Man.
I don't want to get us in any trouble here with the law or Jack Jones's people.
Oh no. That's like him and Kevin Stepherson should get together and go bowling.
Right.
I mean, it's the same thing.
Get in their clown car.
Well, like Stepherson, what did he got suspended for? What was it?
I think it was shoplifting. Was he shoplifting?
It was shoplifting first, and then he got busted for weed like a week later.
Just doubling down on doing bad things.
Man,
kids these days, Greg. Kids these days.
Immensely talented players. Well, this is especially difficult for you because he was your boy.
He was my favorite to talk about. He was a lightning rod for controversy in my eyes, and now he's gone. Just like lightning.
Boom.
Gone too fast.
That's
right. They'll get another Long Beach Poly cornerback, and I'm sure he'll be great.
I'm sure they will.
Yeah, that's enough USC talk, Greg.
Okay.
You wouldn't. I texted you earlier today to try to get tipped off to Notre Dame stuff, and you would not reply.
Well, we went to like a 4th of July thing, and I couldn't think about it.
So I'm gonna do my best here with whatever Notre Dame information I have, because let me tell you, in the summer of 2018, Notre Dame football not high on my priority list.
Nor as it should be, Michael.
Now, early fall, I'm back, guys. They've got a lot of time for me to catch up on, trash quarterbacks and people getting dismissed from school at the Golden Dome.
It's not really like there's not so much going on, really.
Seems a little light.
I mean, because the last time we spoke, we were talking about these guys who were suspended, right? Did we talk about them? The running back?
I think so.
Yeah. So Deion McIntosh, we touched on Kevin Stepherson. He's kicked out of school. So Deion McIntosh and CJ Holmes are also kicked off the team. Deion McIntosh is going to a community college, I want to say in Mississippi. I
The
might be
Last
wrong.
Chance You, right? Isn't he going there?
Yeah, I might be wrong about the location.
But I think it's the one from Netflix. I have
Yeah,
not watched the show, but I
and
think it's that one.
so he's doing that, and CJ Holmes is walking on at Penn State. So they will not be members of the Notre Dame football team.
That's okay.
I mean, it is what it is.
It is what it is.
It is what it is. I think that so they open with Michigan, and so my basic feeling about this team, as it sits right now on July 3rd at 9:49 p.m. Western time, or Pacific time, Western time. That's not even a thing.
It's okay.
My feeling is that they will lose to Michigan and then either lose to Stanford or Virginia Tech and then lose to Florida State and USC to finish the year.
A cool 6-4.
6-4. What are you talking about? They played
8-4.
It'll be 8-4.
Forgot two games there.
I'm gonna say they played 12-game regular seasons.
Sorry.
Yeah. So that's how it sits right now.
Hey, the Michigan kid, didn't he sign a baseball contract this morning? Or yesterday?
He did, but he's playing for
distracted.
And of course, the NCAA allowed him to be eligible for this season because it's the Big Ten, and they're never going to screw over a Big Ten team in their beloved Michigan.
Or Harbaugh.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. I mean, the NCAA, take a hike. They might as well be FIFA at this point.
Agreed.
It's ridiculous. Like Shea Patterson, his argument was, I didn't realize the scope of what Ole Miss was doing. And so I didn't realize the severity of what their punishments would be. So when they were punished from like all the bowl games and the postseason stuff, he was like, this is a hardship. I want to transfer and play immediately. And of course the NCAA agreed, even though it is undoubtedly?
Undoubtedly? No.
I don't know. There's no doubt. We're just going to say there's no doubt that Shea Patterson was completely aware of everything that Ole Miss was doing because he's a 5-star quarterback who went to Ole Miss. Like,
correct.
You think they were doing all these things for all these other guys, but not for the 5-star quarterback? It's preposterous. So, but the NCAA, of course, knows that, but they can, stick their noses in the air, heads in the sand, and act like they didn't know and benefit their beloved Harbaugh.
I mean, look, if it's not USC, the NCAA is not coming down on anybody.
Yeah, it's pretty messed up. So, but I digress on that.
Sorry, yes. So the state of Notre Dame at this summer.
So let me ask you this. I had a conversation with some people on Twitter today about this conversation or about this scenario that I just played out. So let's say Notre Dame finishes 8-4. Okay. And the people were talking about predictions, and the guy said 9-4 with a bowl win. So I said, okay, so that means 8-4 regular season finish. Do you think that Brian Kelly is the coach in that bowl game?
Ooh.
So what do you think?
I think, man, it depends how they get there. If it's a close 8-4 and they're in all these games and they're strong, they have a good stretch down the middle, maybe lose the close ones at the end, he's still around. But if it's just calamity from the start and they only win the games they're supposed to win, to get blown out in the losses, I'm going to say no Brian Kelly. But definitely it goes on how it plays out on the field. I think he gets that. He gets the benefit of the run of play here.
Okay. My opinion is if he goes 8-4, then he will if he's not fired, he'll just resign. Like he'll leave on his own. Because think of it like this.
Where's he gonna go?
I don't know. I mean, he could go somewhere. It's not like he won't get a job. I mean, you think someone wouldn't give him a job?
Of course, but Notre Dame's a pretty high-profile school.
It's high profile, but this is his 9th season now.
These guys have big egos.
He's been there for 9 years, and he will have just gone post in the last, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. So in the last 6 years, he will have gone 8-5, 10-3, 4-8, 10-3, 8-4. I mean,
it's not great.
It's like it's spinning your wheels. Like it's nothing. If he's 7-4, so that's the thing. Like you just said, it depends how it happens. There's two things that could happen. Either he's 7-4 going into USC, which it wouldn't even matter if he beat USC at that point because they're 7-4. Like that's not even a ranked team, probably.
Yeah, probably not.
So if you're unranked going into the last game of the season and somehow you beat USC, I think going into that game 7-4, because who have you lost to at that point? You've probably lost to Michigan, right? You've probably lost to both Stanford and Virginia Tech, and you've lost to Florida State, probably. I think the goose would be cooked at that point. And to be honest with you, I think he could only finish 8-4 if he's 8-3 going into USC.
Ooh.
Because they're not going to be 7-4 and win the last game. Like that's just not happening.
The season's already over.
Yeah, it never happens. Like Notre Dame, first of all, they struggle in November anyway, and they're already 7-4, probably unranked, playing for nothing.
Who's their quarterback?
Wimbush.
Wimbush is okay. All right. Do you think they're 7-4? Do you think Wimbush is their quarterback?
No. That's another thing. If they're 7-4, Djokovic is the quarterback.
That's kind of what I'm thinking. If this is just a real, just a calamity. People don't know what's going on. I think that's when. If it looks bad.
And by the way, and this is getting because we're going to talk about the rule changes. I brought up the fact that players should be eligible for 4 games. Freshmen should be eligible for 4 games and still retain their eligibility. Have I brought that up on this podcast before? I feel like I have.
Specifically, I don't think so, but you are the champion of bowl game eligibility.
Right. So I want them to be able to play in the bowl game. And
that's like a cousin of what's going on.
Well, I mean, this one is so much better.
Yeah, this is way better.
They get 4 games to play and keep their eligibility. Like, I think that's perfect. Like, because there's been so many occasions, probably for USC as well, but for Notre Dame, it's like at the end of years, people get hurt.
Right.
And you need a guy to just take some snaps because you just don't have the roster numbers. Too many people are injured. So it's like you have a guy who needs to play a lot of snaps in like 2 games, and he loses his entire season because of that.
So you don't play him probably, or you do something. You play a worse player just because you're worried about eligibility.
Right. So what we're talking about, for people who might not have heard, is the NCAA ruled that any player, it's not just freshmen, can play up to 4 games and retain their eligibility for that season. So it's as if you can still redshirt and play in 4 games, basically.
Which is great.
Which is great. And so if it's a situation where Notre Dame is 7-4 or 6-4 or whatever, they need to play Jurkovec.
Yeah, bye-bye Brandon Wimbush.
Yeah, they got to do it because you got to know what you got in this guy. You know, and even if you don't really know what you have in him, like you need to get him out there. Like you have Brandon Wimbush, who's played a ton. You have Ian Book, who has started 1 game and played a lot last year. So you've seen him on the field. You need to know what this freshman has. He needs to play next year regardless. It doesn't matter. He needs to play against some team. You know, they need to blow out Ball State, and he needs to get in there. Personally, I wouldn't mind if he's. I want him to start a game, just period.
Like from the get-go, or just at some point, just trot him out there.
There needs to be a game that they know they're going to win, and they need to start him.
Wow, that would be taking it full advantage of the redshirt rule.
Of course.
And if there's one coach I know who would start a true freshman in the middle of the season just to shake things up.
Well, you give your quarterback, because look, here's another thing. Brandon Wimbush is going to run a lot next year because they lost these 2 running backs. They have 2 freshman running backs on the depth chart and a converted wide receiver at running back on the depth chart. And they have Dexter Williams, who is going to be suspended for the first 4 games, and Tony Jones Jr. So Brandon Wimbush is going to run the ball a lot.
And he's good at it.
He is good at it, but
or has been good at it in the past.
It's not like last year. And he got banged up last year, and I didn't feel like he carried it that much. So, look, you give your quarterback an extra bye week if you can. You know what I mean? Like, let him rest.
Not the worst idea.
Let him rest and get your other quarterback ready to go.
You know? That's some futuristic football thinking there.
Thank you, Michael. We saw it in 2012 when Everett Golson, he got banged up in a couple of games, and he didn't play in the BYU game. So he played against Stanford, got banged up in that game, didn't play the next week against BYU, and then he started against Oklahoma at Oklahoma. Now it was a little bit different because Notre Dame was able to put in Tommy Rees, who had started a whole bunch of games before that, and so he was an upperclassman. So that's a junior versus a freshman. But I think Notre Dame, there's a couple of games where, you know, you could take the chance.
They got your boy Ian Book back there.
Yeah, they have opportunities.
To sub in if things go awry.
And even if they don't want to start him, like, he has to play this year. He has to. I mean, I think every quarterback, every team who has a freshman quarterback who is like, you know, not like a project, quote unquote, like, they got to play him this year. Every single one.
Like Georgia, doesn't Georgia have some 5-star recruit they just got?
Yeah, the Justin Fields kid. You play him. You got to play him. So, but anyway.
I like it.
So I think if Brian Kelly is 7-4 going into USC, I don't think there's any way they would go 8-4. I don't think they would win the game. But even if they did, like, I think his goose would be cooked. And if they were 8-3 going into USC, like, that game would be seen as this is for Kelly's job. And if they lost, then there you go.
Later.
See you later.
Happy Thanksgiving. 4
losses is a lot of losses.
True.
It's a lot. And if you look back at some of Brian Kelly's, like, recent history,
not too hot.
Well, what recent history when they lose that second game? Notre Dame is basically fine until that second game is lost. Like, you can lose once, right? So
And then the wheels come off.
and then the wheels just come off. Because look at you had 2012, they went undefeated. No, they lost. 2013, they lost to Oklahoma. Let me see if I can remember that season. Oh yeah, they lost to Michigan early. And then they lost to Oklahoma. I don't know. That team kind of held it together. But the 2014 team,
Yeah.
were undefeated playing Florida State. They lost a close one. And then they lost that second one to Arizona State. And they completely fell apart. Completely fell apart. Like,
Brian Kelly's a bristly dude.
it was
Once you
awful.
cross him, he's not fun to be around.
It was awful. So, and then in 2015, they didn't lose their second game. They didn't lose their second game to the last game of the season. So it's like when they're motivated, it's fine. 2016, they lost the second game to Michigan State, and then that season completely fell apart.
Yeah, that was a good one.
And then in 2017, they lost to Georgia early. Then they went on a big run. They got to number 3. Then they lost to Miami. And then they looked terrible against Navy. And they got beat up in the fourth quarter against Stanford.
Since we're going through history here, can you believe that this coming season will be our 4th season? So that means anyone who was a freshman is a senior now. We have gone through a whole recruiting class doing this podcast.
Wowza kabowza.
Right?
That's nuts. Congrats to us, Michael.
Congrats to us.
Hey, we totally talked about it before we press record here. We have big news. Congratulations to us, Michael.
That's true. Congratulations to us.
Michael Muto will be welcoming his first child into the world. When is the due date?
October
what? Do you have the exact
1? October 2.
October 2.
So early October.
2018, young Muto. And you don't know the sex, right?
We're going to be surprised.
Okay.
We're gluttons for punishment.
And you won't say the name.
No, the name's on lockdown.
Much to our
friend of the pod, Tim Norcus' chagrin.
Friend of the pod, Tim Norcus, is very upset. He is very upset.
He's driving through South Dakota on Thursday. A scowl will come across his face when he gets to this part.
He sent me a number of text messages just berating you for your choices not to say it.
It's all right. That's what I'm here for. I'm here for the handle.
He doesn't want to say the name. What do you want?
But it's congratulations for both of us. Because Greg.
We are also expecting our third child.
Whew.
It will be a wonderful young lady in December.
Wow. The end of the season is going to be a fun time for both of us.
Man, this one. The first two we had, it was just kind of like, yeah, we're having kids. This one, like, I felt the pressure in my chest.
Well, you're outnumbered now. You're outgunned.
Why? Because
there's 3 of them. There's only 2 of you, and there's 3 of them.
Well, I think it's funny because I was hoping. See, I was hoping for a boy because it would be the first time that I wasn't outnumbered from a male standpoint. Because I grew up. I have 2 sisters, and I'm in the middle. So my son is in the same exact situation as me. I'm in the middle of 2 sisters. So it's like I grew up, playing basketball by myself in the driveway, football by myself in the front yard. And, that was what I did. And I was hoping for a boy so that the tables could turn at least just once in my life. Because the other funny thing is my wife is the middle of 2 other girls. So there's 3 girls.
Lots of girls running around.
There's girls everywhere. So I just wanted the tables to be turned one time. I could have 2 boys and my daughter, but that didn't work out. So there are 3 kids and 3 women in this house, and just me and the boy. So that's just the way.
I'm excited for you to continue to be outnumbered.
Oh my gosh! And we're totally in this stage now where my daughter, the old one, she is just a terror. Just getting into everything. Like the other day, we came home, or we were outside with the neighbors, and she came inside with the boys. The neighbors have 2 boys. She came inside with them. They played in here by themselves for a little bit while we were outside talking. We came back inside, and the couch he wrote with a pen just all over the couch.
That seems not okay.
And it's like, what are you doing? Like, you have to know this was not the right thing that you just did. Like, there's no way that in your little brain you thought it's okay if I write with pen on this couch when she's not allowed to do anything on the couch. She can't
or
eat
with pen.
She can't eat on the couch. She can't, like, she paints her nails. She can't paint her nails on the couch. Everything with the couch is like you can sit on it.
That's her couch now.
And now it's like, I'm going to take this pen and write on it.
Shouldn't have been outside talking. You learned your lesson.
I know.
She's teaching you.
I know.
Can't wait till I have stories like that.
Oh, Michael. It's coming.
So fulfilling though, right?
It's coming. It's great.
I know.
It'll be the best thing that ever happened to you. And it'll also be the most tiring thing that ever happened to you.
You know, if USC is undefeated and JT Daniels and Amon-Ra St. Brown are on their way to Heisman campaigns, all those names may be in play. That's all I'm saying.
Well, they won't be. I mean, undefeated by October 2nd?
Yeah.
I mean, look, Amon-Ra Mudo is
it's a good one.
I'm telling you what, there are no other Amon-Ra Mudos out there.
There are none.
JT Mudo?
Actually, you know what? I don't know what the J stands for.
I don't either.
I'm not going to look it up until the next podcast.
Okay. Whenever that may be.
Great point. Well, we know it's probably in August.
Yeah, probably is.
Because that's when, preseason practices start.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Uh-oh.
So, all right, man. Should we wrap it up?
Do we have any other news? Let's see. We did our parent corner, which is exciting.
In our parent corner,
because that doesn't make me feel old.
Yeah.
So you got my heavy hitters, and actually, you got to parent corner a little quick. I want to do one more Notre Dame question for you.
Okay.
Because if you go to uhnd.com, one of their guys, I'm not going to say who, wrote a little 2-piece story about the best players during Brian Kelly's tenure at Notre Dame. Notre Dame fans, you should check it out if you haven't already. So, Greg, who just was the number one best player? That's all. When I was reading your stuff, that's all I thought about. Who was the best player so far during Brian Kelly's tenure? Parent Corner stepped on that, but I just wanted to know who you thought.
Who did I put?
You didn't say who number one was.
The best players? Oh, did I? I think what I did was
you did one. You did like a team. You did one. The best player at each position.
Yeah. The best
player, best quarterback, best lineman.
So the
best offensive line, best running back, best wide receiver.
The single best player.
The single best player during Brian Kelly's tenure. Oh.
I mean, it's got to be Manti.
Yeah, it makes sense.
It is. I mean,
he almost won a Heisman.
He's the most decorated linebacker in college football history. I mean, what are you going to say? The guy won every award there is. I mean, you could make the case that you could make the case for Quentin Nelson, probably.
He didn't win any awards, though.
You know, it's funny. He didn't win the Outland Trophy, which is like the best lineman or whatever. Which Manti did, and he was like Defensive Player of the Year. But like that's accolades. Like at the same time, like Manti won all those, and then he got picked in the second round.
Right.
Whereas
and had a fake girlfriend.
That hurts my feelings, Mike.
Hey, Quentin Nelson didn't have a fake girlfriend, so you got that going for you.
You don't know that. Maybe it wasn't publicized. Maybe he did.
The long tradition of the best player on Notre Dame team.
No, but he got picked 6, so it's like maybe.
But you said, you did say draft ranking counted, but NFL production did not count.
Yeah,
that was your caveat,
right? So, I don't know, but I still think it's Manti, just because he was the best player on a team that went 12-0.
Great point.
Yeah,
I just wanted to make sure that your articles at uhnd.com got some run here.
Thank you, Michael.
So the fans can find them.
Yep, I got one coming out. I think maybe tonight it came out. It's about Alize Mack, the tight end. How it's like this is his last chance to live up to his hype.
I thought I saw something about tight ends, but I think it was an old one, so I don't think it's out yet.
Well, maybe.
But whatever. So Greg writes at uhnd.com. You can follow him at Twitter, Greg2126. You get Notre Dame and LeBron James tweets now.
Yeah, for the USC people listening.
So that's if you're in LA and you hate Notre Dame and you like the Lakers, but still a Venn diagram I'm not on. But
I'm gonna tweet a whole bunch about. I'm gonna talk about LeBron and the Lakers and
Magic, Kobe.
At least until September.
It's fantastic.
I'm on it.
It's fantastic for you.
Yes.
Exciting times in Los Angeles all around.
Very much so, Michael.
Let's see. I'm Michael Muto on Twitter. I haven't been tweeting much because not a lot's going on. And Twitter makes me angry every time I go on there. So there's that. We'll be back in August. Maybe late July. Who knows?
You never know, Michael.
You never know. But thank you for listening. And enjoy the holidays in the summer. Fight on.
Go Irish.